Eyewitness News.
Just awful. All right, Mark, thank you. And as Mark said, Anthony Bourdain's death was the second notable suicide this week, and that has us looking deeper into the growing concern on the national and local level about suicide. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Matthew Campbell is live now in the capital city with some staggering new information. Matthew?
Yeah, Dennis, we reported the latest numbers from the CDC yesterday, and suicide is now one of the top 10 leading causes of death in the country. And here in Connecticut, the suicide rate is the highest it's been in nearly 30 years. Nationally, suicides have increased by 25% over the last 20 years, and in Connecticut, the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner reveals with more than 400 suicides last year, our residents are killing themselves more now than ever before.
We're talking about a suicide rate of about 15 people per 100,000 in the United States who die by suicide. That's more than the homicide rate.
Dr. Hank Schwartz, psychiatrist in chief at Hartford Hospital's Institute of Living, is confronting the uncomfortable truth.
A suicidal act isn't a cry for help. It is a very definitive act to end one's life.
The reality of these tragedies is evident in the small town of Suffield.
Unfortunately, in this community in the last year and a half, we've lost 3 teenagers.
In a town where the degrees of separation are slim, Police Captain Christopher McKee says the effects have a lasting impact on locals.
The community gets devastated, the school community, the students, and then by extension, their families.
In response to these tragedies, this town is ramping up awareness efforts. Experts have been enlisted to start discussions at the high school and in town.
There's a lot of support out there. We've got to figure a better way to connect this support with those in the need.
Then the constant reminder, if you see something, say something. But in cases involving mental health, Schwartz says the warning signs of depression, sleep problems, and irritability may not be as apparent or bold as you'd expect.
Suicidal wishes are often amongst the most intensely held secrets that people have.
Now, while the suicide deaths of Bourdain and designer Kate Spade have really brought the conversation back to this important topic, Dr. Schwartz is concerned that it may result in copycats, especially amongst those who already have these suicidal thoughts. Now, if you or somebody that you know needs some help, you can find contact information on our Channel 3 app. For now, that's the latest. Live here in Hartford, Matthew Campbell, Channel 3 News.
Okay, Matthew, thank you. We want you to know there is some help for those in need. You can call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline 24 hours a day. The number is 1-800-273-8255. That also stands for TALK. There's also a crisis text line, which can be reached by sending a message to 741-741.
All right, we are ending the week across Connecticut on this Friday with some warm weather. It's finally feeling like June, and this afternoon tracking developing cloud cover, but otherwise primarily dry weather. A few sprinkles here and there within the borders of Connecticut in association with a cold front that otherwise passes with very little fanfare and then eventually stalls to the south of Connecticut. So as we look at our early warning pinpoint Doppler, essentially scanning the state dry for now, and we are looking at a stretch now of dry weather for quite some time to come. There's our ICAM view from West Hartford 4 hours ago, showing initially some higher level clouds and those clouds building in through the course of the afternoon as we now look live from the center over to Blueback Square. Nice evening underway. It's going to be warm. Temperatures slowly dropping through the 70s. It's 80 right now in Bristol on our network of neighborhood weather stations. 79 Winstead, 77 in Plainfield and West Haven right now checks in at 76, and dew point values fairly comfortable, ranging from the mid 50s into the low 60s. So compared to this time yesterday, temperatures across the state 5, 10, nearly 15 degrees warmer just based on your location. So this warm weather, is it going to be sticking around throughout the weekend? We'll have the latest on some ups and downs in the temperature and how long will be dry. Talk about our next chance for rain, possibly some thunderstorms ahead as we continue with weather every 10 minutes.
All right, thank you, Mark. It is a big story we've been following. Violence in parts of the capital city. And now Hartford police have detailed new plans to curb the violence following a wave of shootings. Police Chief David Rosado says the federal government and the state will give Hartford officers more help, both with investigations and prosecutions. The chief also assigned more police officers to walk the beat in high-crime areas. Coming up tonight at 5:30, we'll hear from City Hall and residents living in the neighborhoods where the violence is occurring.
There's new information now about the parents of a 6-week-old baby girl who died after being brought to the hospital with severe injuries. They're now facing manslaughter charges today. 23-year-old Edwin Babylonia and 20-year-old Ashley Rivera Perez faced a judge for the new charges. They both pleaded not guilty. Hartford police said the baby was taken to Connecticut Children's Medical Center on May 24th with bleeding on the brain, severe bruising, rib fractures, and a collarbone fracture. She died days later. A public defender for the couple says the injuries suffered by the infant were accidental.
Police in Bloomfield have arrested this man. 45-year-old Henry Seabach is charged with disposing of a body. Back on March 29th, human remains were found in a field off Woodland Avenue. The remains were identified as those of Elizabeth Reichhoff. She was reported missing back in September of 2017. Police are not saying how she died. Seabach is being held on a $100,000 bond.
Still ahead tonight, an Eyewitness News exclusive.
To finally live a life of being free and away from, abuse, and unfortunately, it was too late.
Family members are speaking out about the death of their loved one, what they say might have saved her.
Plus, still overwhelmed with damage and cleanup efforts after severe storms. Help is on the way for Hamden and other towns destroyed.
And ahead at 5:30, vetoed by Governor Malloy, a bill to protect teachers from assault stopped. We hear how they feel now that their cry for help was denied.
I could do it myself.
Dad, I got this.
Hey, can you help me with this? I thought you knew how to do that. Yeah, but I can't do it like you.
Here's to the guy who taught you everything. Happy Father's Day from Men's Warehouse.
Feet come in all shapes and sizes. Hi, this is Michael DeCibio from New Balance, South Windsor and Avon. Your feet are unique, and we have fit specialists on staff to help you find the right fit and the right shoe. Come see us today. New Balance, South Windsor and Avon.
8 years of Dan Malloy have devastated Connecticut's economy. Businessman Bob Stefanowski's tax plan will rebuild it. Developed by the same highly regarded economists who helped President Reagan fix America's economy. Bob Stefanowski's plan eliminates the estate tax, phases out the income tax, and slashes government waste. Smart, conservative reforms, fostering growth and creating jobs. Bob Stefanowski for governor.
I'm Bob Stefanowski, and I approve this message.
Indulgent, decadent, rich. Savor the sensation of the new Cashlicious scratch ticket from the Connecticut Lottery. Cashlicious. This new scratch ticket looks so good you can taste it, but don't. You can't eat scratch tickets.
Don't eat scratch tickets.
Now's your chance to win up to $50,000 instantly.
That's a lot of money.
Winning's never been so sweet.
So sweet.
Play one of 4 indulgent Cashlicious tickets today.
Cashlicious.
We just moved in about 4 months ago, but the living room is pretty blank.
It's really nice when clients come in and have done some of their own research.
Working with the Bassett designer was really easy.
It just kind of ties in very well.
We love it.
This weekend at Bassett, save up to 30% store-wide, plus extra savings.
Enhance your yard with pavers and walls by Ideal. Hi, I'm Brian Bellady. Visit us at New England Silica on Route 5 in South Windsor and be inspired by our extensive outdoor display. We have the selection of Ideal pavers and walls you need at prices you can afford.
I love this color, but I'm loose up here and I'm tight right here.
Go with a custom shirt and choose your look while their master tailors find your perfect fit.
I can breathe.
And you look great.
Now at Men's Warehouse, create a custom-made shirt personalized just for you.
You're going to like the way you look in custom.
Stories you won't see anywhere else. Exclusively on Eyewitness News at 11.
Now an Eyewitness News exclusive.
She was in a relationship for 14 years where she was afraid to talk with people, about her situation.
His sister was shot and killed in Southington this past Sunday. Police say the gunman, her ex-boyfriend, who then killed himself in Naugatuck, is to blame.
The victim's brother opened up exclusively to Channel 3's Jennifer Lee, and Jen is here now with the story. And Jen, so obviously the family does not want this to happen to anybody else.
Dennis and Denise, such a sad loss for the family of Michelle Barrett. They say she was a loving and giving person and say she almost got away from a long-term abusive relationship. A jokester, hard worker, and loving mother.
She always put herself last and put everybody else first.
Michelle Barrett was also a confidant to younger brother Michael.
She was my rock, somebody that I could talk to.
He says the plan was in place. Michelle would move down to South Carolina in July after her 16-year-old son Christian finished the school year. The 41-year-old had finally put an end to a 14-year on-again, off-again relationship with Robert DeSantis just 2 months earlier.
Unfortunately, it was too late by the time that, she was able to get away.
Last Sunday, Southington police were called to do a welfare check on Michelle around 6 a.m. Just half an hour earlier, Naugatuck police say ex-boyfriend Robert DeSantis shot himself in the police parking lot. When Southington police got to Manor Road, officers found Michelle's body in the backyard. Police say DeSantis shot and killed Michelle hours earlier, around 1 a.m.
We feel strongly that, other victims of domestic violence shouldn't be in a situation where they're afraid to seek help or be afraid to tell others what's going on.
Eyewitness News learned in Connecticut, nearly 40,000 people seek domestic violence services each year. On average, there are 12 homicides that result out of domestic violence. So far in 2018, there have been 8 homicides, 3 of them murder-suicides. Karen Jarmuck of the Coalition Against Domestic Violence says victims can find help 24/7 and work with an advocate to develop a safety plan.
Where they don't feel safe, where they feel threatened or harassed, or where there's a lot of jealousy and control, to know that these are concerning behaviors and that they can reach out and speak with an advocate confidentially and get help.
The family now hopes Michelle's memory will serve to protect other victims of domestic violence.
She was just a wonderful human being, and she was just such a great person.
Michelle's brother and his wife will take legal guardianship over Michelle's 16-year-old son. A GoFundMe page has been set up for him. Eyewitness News also got in touch with Robert DeSantis' father, who tells us that he hasn't been in touch with his son in about 20 years. Jennifer Lee, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Now, Channel 3 early morning weather with meteorologist Mark Dixon.
All right, the second weekend of June is upon us, and it is shaping up to be rather nice, dry, with comfortable levels of humidity and temperatures that are actually going to be a little bit above average for a change. Also, as we head into the middle of June, of course, we are monitoring daylight that we are still gaining. Tomorrow, sunrise is at 5:15, sets at 8:25, giving us a grand total of 15 hours and 10 minutes of possible daylight. Now, during the afternoon, we may see some clouds develop across the state, but just want to point out that since the winter solstice, we've already gained 6 hours and 3 minutes. And over the next 12 days, as we head toward the 21st, the summer solstice, we're only going to be gaining an additional 4 minutes. So once we get past the 21st, we start losing that daylight, something we don't want to talk about. So get out and enjoy this weekend's worth of stellar weather here on this Friday evening. Temperatures, the 5 o'clock hour, range from the upper 70s to low 80s inland, and from 66 in Groton with an onshore flow there to as warm as 77 in Bridgeport, currently 75 New Haven, 80 in our capital city. So we've got a bit of a southerly flow right now. We actually have a weak cold front that's basically washing out across southern New England, and it's going to stall to our south this weekend, and that will be the focal point for any sort of wet weather, stalling far enough away from us that we're going to squeak out a couple of dry days. So here's our iCam view from Torrington, showing after some cloudiness this afternoon, a lot of blue sky, a nice scene looking downstream of the Connecticut River from Middletown, and sunshine mixing with some mid and high level clouds as well from southeastern Connecticut. Checking in on all the folks there waiting for the next ferry to come and take them away. So we've got a clear scan on our early warning pinpoint Doppler, perhaps just a couple of sprinkles this evening as that boundary works into southern New England. You can see it's working throughout the region with very little fanfare, just some cloud cover again with this front that's working from northwest to southeast. And that front stalls again just to our south this weekend. And we're going to see waves of low pressure right along that later tomorrow and then even early next week. But we're going to be on the dry side of that, or it's going to be far enough away from us that we'll be able to enjoy a stretch of dry weather. So here's Futurecast. We'll start you off 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Sunshine, so you're going to be perhaps heading out to the Coleman walk that's happening in Bushnell Park. That will be great for weather-wise early in the morning. Registration 7:30 kicks off at 9, and then through the course of the afternoon, you can see some clouds developing. I think a little